time. That's because it actually is wintertime where I am. We want to welcome you to this session. My name is Lisa Matthews, and I am with Mathematically Connected Communities. I have been so for a very long time, worked around New Mexico, and really grateful to be here with you tonight. And I want to let my partner introduce herself.
I am Emily Conway. I also work with Mathematically Connected Communities down here at New Mexico State University, and I'm excited to be here as well.
And friends, just because we all know how hard it is to talk to little black boxes, if it's possible for you to turn on your camera, it's always nice to see each other and put names to faces. If you can't and life's getting in your way, I totally understand that. And it's nice to see some familiar faces and some new ones too. So we have only an hour with you, which gosh, it's going to be jam-packed. So we want to get started right away. And my friend Allie, I ask you to please hit the record button? Are you able to do that? Or are you already doing that? You are on it. Thank you, friend. And I just want to be transparent that this will be recorded because we've had several people reach out and say they can't make it, but they would like to watch the recording. So we're really here to just talk about like laying the foundation, a good foundation, and that is adopting high quality math resources during our textbook adoption period in New Mexico this year. So just a little background if you're not familiar with MC Squared, we are a group of people who are located at New Mexico State University, and we've been working in New Mexico for over 20 years. And our goal is just to try to improve the teaching and learning of mathematics K-12 for students across New Mexico. And we really want to do that in partnership with mathematicians and teachers and administrators and kids and really building those connected communities across the state. And we also want to welcome a new partner, the STEM Innovation Network, which is just newly formed, and it was created through state legislative funding and the Public Education Department to really pull together all the good work that great organizations like our friends at LANL, like MC Squared, like all the good work that's happening, and really give us a place to come together and truly partner, right, and bring together all the good work we're doing in STEM education across the state. So these are the two organizations that are sponsoring our work tonight, and I want to say thanks to them. So here's our agenda. Just we're going to have a brief introduction, and then we're really going to think about creating a vision for math teaching and learning, because that's where our adoption process, our journey is going to start. We're going to think a little bit about the importance of high quality instructional materials. How do we get started? We're going to give you a little time to plan and reflect, and we want to offer you some further resources because really an hour is just the start of our work together tonight. And so we want to start off with a brief introduction, just like who's here. And so if you would be willing to take yourself off mute, or you're also welcome to type in the chat. Like I said, we know that there's lots of different ways to interact virtually. Just share your name and your role and the organization or site that you're coming to us from. So I'm going to pause and give a couple minutes for us to do that. We'd love to hear who's here.
I'm Jennifer Timmy from Carlsbad, New Mexico. I'm the Director of Curriculum and Instruction, and just excited to hear what you have to share. Thank you for doing this.
Thanks, Jennifer. Thanks so much for being here. Who's next?
Yes, I'll weigh in. I'm Bob Grunig. I'm the director of the Central Hub region of the STEM Innovation Network. Very excited about our efforts, and math is our big focus this year. So excited to learn more about from this call, what you all have to share.
Thanks, Bob. I've heard so many good things about you and the folks at the Central Network. We're glad to be partnered with you.
Thank you.
Who's next?
Good evening, everyone. My name is Zach Leonard. I'm with the Lano Math and Science Academy. We run the Math Teacher Leader Network, and we support teachers in five districts across 7 schools. And obviously, they're in an adoption year, and so it's always nice to be in the know in regards to how to support them as they make those transitions and big decisions in their districts.
Thanks, Zach. All right. A few more people are here, and if you're able, we would love to have you introduce yourself so we can start to build our community. Oh, I see
Hello.
Devin. Yeah.
Yes, I'm Devon Fight. I'm the
Oh, Devin.
Southeastern Regional Director, and I am happy to be here. I have a nonprofit organization in Lee County.
Oh, Devon, I've already heard about you. You're famous. So like I'm so glad to finally meet you. Thank you for being here. And I think we've got Angie, is that right?
Yeah, and I feel like I'm really underqualified compared to all you guys. I'm just a kindergarten teacher in Albuquerque.
You stop that. That is the most important job in the whole wide world. Hats off to you, friend. Like, yeah, there is
You guys
nothing
are all
more
directors
impressive.
of something.
You are a director of like probably 20 something little 5-year-olds, and all of us put together probably couldn't do what you do in one day. So God bless you for me. We appreciate the work that you do. And thank you for being here. And really we just want to be clear about, first of all, thank you everybody. I'm so glad you're here. That you took time to do this. And the purpose is really, again, we only have an hour. We're just going to create awareness of the importance of adopting high quality materials, and we're going to offer some tools to get started, right? And we're going to do that together in partnership. So I'm glad everybody's here. And we want to say, right, like so often, like I know if you've been around a while, like, like I know Zach has and I have, and we've been doing work in New Mexico. We've been through several adoption cycles now. And sometimes, especially if you're in a smaller district, right? Like adoption sometimes can just feel like a big pain, or it's like, oh, we just got to get it out of the way. And sometimes we adopt resources because it's just what we've always done, right? And it's because it's what works. Like people like it. It's what feels comfortable, right? And we've been doing maybe things the same year. Maybe we've always had the black book or the green book or whatever, and we just keep doing it, right? Um, or maybe like the materials look super snazzy, like they have all the bells and whistles. I remember one year, like it was a big black book came out, and everybody's like, "Oh, this it has all these things." But it turned out that a lot of districts who adopted that book weren't really happy after they did. The bells and whistles were great, but it didn't really meet the needs that they wanted, the vision that they had for their kids. So we just want to take time to pause and just be thoughtful, right, about how these decisions impact us in teaching and learning for sometimes a really long time, right? Like 7 years is a long time. And so in order to kind of ground us, we really want to pause because we don't always get a chance to do that in our work. And really just think about what is math teaching and learning like? What is it like? What's our vision for it, right? Because if we don't know where we want to go, right, we're never going to get there. So we're going to start to think about our vision for math teaching and learning. And we're going to kind of reflect on maybe some things that feel familiar to us, maybe some things that feel new to us. But we want to offer first this image. So I'm going to pause while you look at that and give yourself just about 30 seconds and think about like some notices and wonders you have about this image. And then Allie's going to send you off to some breakout rooms to just talk with 2 or 3 people, right? Like just maybe groups of 2 or 3, and just share some notices and some wonders that come up for you. And because we want you to have this image available, Ellie just popped it in the chat. So if you just click on that image and just do a Control-C or a copy that image, you can take it and paste it into a quick doc and have the image ready to look at. And it should follow you to your room because it's in your chat box now. So do you have any questions about what you're going to do for the next couple of minutes? Look at this image of math teaching and learning. What do you notice? What do you wonder? What words or phrases come up? Okay, we're going to send you there for Ellie. What do you think? About 3 minutes? So we'll see you back at 3.
All right.
Yeah, I feel good about this. Like, I'm glad we did this. Do you know what I mean? Like, even if this is all we do, right? This was better
Yep.
than not supporting people at all. But I know we've got our sessions and I hope that we get some good support for that. But thank you for being willing to partner with me on this.
Oh, absolutely. And I know Ashley Cook, one of our teacher leaders, reached out to say, can I have that flyer again? I'm going to try and get everybody to go as a PLC on her secondary team. So we might have
So
some more
hopefully we'll
folks
see
at
them
secondary.
tomorrow. Yeah, good.
Yeah.
And now it makes me really glad that I put that kindergarten thing in there so we can talk about, we can say it's not just for, right, Angie, we have something for you too.
Love it. Oh, do we want to close? Are we ready? All right. I was going to say, what a wonderful thing that so many folks are too from the STEM network. The directors are here, so if they can help promote in their hubs, that's so neat. Mhm. You're muted, friend.
Thank you. I was just saying, I'm so grateful, right, that people, right, that the directors came. Come back. I know 3 minutes goes fast in a breakout room. So thank you. If you didn't get a chance to finish, you can kind of bring it back here. What did you notice? What did you wonder? What came up for you? We'd love to have the group share. Maybe Angie and Bob and Jennifer can start us off.
I kind of ascribe to the right side of the picture, forcing students to think the teacher I see more as a facilitator stepping in when he or she is required. It creates a muscle memory that I don't think you necessarily get on the left side, although there is a point in time where that is appropriate with younger students versus when they get older. And it even get to the point having students on the right work on real world problems so they can actually relate even more how valuable the math is to solving a problem in their own particular environment.
Bob, thanks for starting us off. What else came up? Either same group, other ideas, other notices or wonders, different group.
Angie had a great perspective for us in kindergarten. You're still teaching some things on the front end of just how to, Angie, you could probably speak to it better, but certainly there's an age group and a time and a place where you're trying to get started and then releasing students to do additional things to build on that. Did I communicate that correctly, Angie?
Pretty much. I was just saying that as kindergartners, they don't come in with any cognitive thinking skills or very few at this age. So we really have to show them step by step how to do something and build those skills before we start releasing it for them so that they can do it more independently.
Yeah,
So it's definitely a mix of both of those.
Yep, for sure, for sure. They're never gonna just, it's not gonna come down from the sky like what a rhombus is called, right? Like you gotta show them best, right? Like so for
That's
sure.
what I keep saying with PBL too.
Right, right. Maybe Zach and Devon, do you want to share what came up in your group?
I can just jump in. We talked about a couple things, sort of, direct instruction versus project-based learning was one idea. The other thing we talked about was the idea that in some ways they're connected, right? It's you have a direct instruction, and then they're moving into this practice. I don't see a lot of these guys on the right though aren't very happy looking, these little students, and so where's the smiles, where's the collaboration? Doesn't look like there's a lot. It looks like so we were hoping for some smiles, and really this is, I think, indicative of the paradigm shift that we're trying to make, from towards teachers or students engaging in all 8 math practices, is best they can, or the most they can during a classroom period.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, I think probably a lot of us can relate to this, right? Like for a lot of us, this is how we learned math, right? It's like, hey, today I'm going to teach you how to do the multiplication algorithm or whatever, right? Like this is how you do it, and then go practice, and I'm going to make sure that you do it right. And again, there are some things for which this is very appropriate, right? But kind of Zach is sort of, I owe Zach a tasty beverage because that's exactly where we're going next. There wasn't a lot of collaboration. There wasn't a lot of happy faces here. So this is a different way that math teaching and learning can look. And just like before, I'm going to invite you to take about 30 seconds to look at this image. Allie's posted it in the chat. We're going to go through the same process. See what you notice and wonder here and what you'd like to take and talk about when you go back to your breakout rooms in about 30 seconds. Allie, when we go to breakouts for the, which one doesn't, or sorry, which two go together, could we shorten the countdown timer?
I don't know how to shorten the countdown timer.
Oh,
Let me look on.
When you do breakout rooms and it says there's a little blue box on the left-hand side, it says on the bottom left, it says
The options.
You can set it to like 15 or 30 or whatever
Oh,
there.
perfect.
Okay, cool.
Okay, I will put that there.
Awesome, thanks.
Do you want to do about 3 minutes in those notice and wonders too? Or longer?
Because they're such small
maybe.
groups, I think 3-4 minutes is fine. I think 3 minutes is fine.
Okay,
Yeah, I think 3
that
minutes is fine.
works.
Come back. So a different view, like a different model of math teaching and learning. What came up in this image? Like what notices and wonders did you have? What words came up? Love to hear it.
Well, Devon shared that they're all smiling, so there's a lot more enthusiasm for the work.
Yeah. Yeah, and can I say I was literally in a classroom of 6th graders today earlier, and this is exactly what happened, right? Like when we did this, there actually literally was more smiles. So yeah, I can verify that. What else did you notice or wonder?
I made the comment the teachers engage in the entire process. If I recall in the first diagrams we looked at, the teacher was there and would correct, like in figure number 2, but the teacher is listening and asking questions, so it's engaging the students more than in the previous example.
Got it. Yeah, so the teacher sort of, in some ways, it doesn't like they're not saying as much, right? But they're definitely more active and involved in the entire process. Thanks, Bob. What else came up?
Well, I didn't mention this in the group, but I think for ELA, we actually do this more because I'll walk around
Right.
and talk with my groups when they're sharing and all of that, but it's harder to do that in math.
Yeah,
And
how could we make this happen in math, Angie? I agree.
yeah,
What
I
do you
don't know.
feel like it's harder?
I was trying to figure out how I get them to think about have that quiet think time where they're making that connection. But we
Yeah,
also have math after lunch, so I think they're a little zoned out by that time.
especially 5-year-olds, man. Yeah,
Yeah,
totally. That's a
so-
little, yeah, that schedule. We need to think about that there a little bit.
So
Anything else that came up?
Well, we just talked also about, it's a nice cycle, but you've got to be mindful of engaging kids in the right tasks, right? And if it's not a meaningful task, an engaging task, or a rich task that's going to keep them thinking, then they'll lose interest, just like any other classroom. It doesn't matter to the structure, they're going to lose interest. So that's a big part of it, obviously, and that's that's part of this whole HQIM adoption piece, is getting that piece right. It's hard.
Yeah. Well, see, I think Zach's still lobbying for me to buy him another tasty beverage because again, that's where we're going next. So, because a lot of us, is it fair to say a lot of us maybe didn't learn math this way in a model that looked like this? Right. And Angie's like, I don't even know how to get kids to do this. What I'd like to do is I'd like to offer what is a task that we feel like is a rich task from a high quality instructional material. and maybe just give us an experience to see what it looks like and feels like, because we might not have had that experience before. So we're going to do some math together. This is a third grade task. And we're going to spend about the next 10 minutes doing this task together. And just kind of reflect on how it felt, right? And what it was like to do math this way. So I'm going to invite you to put on your third grade hats. You do not know multiplication yet. Like, you are just starting to think about like what it might mean to multiply something. And so we're gonna do this for about 10. So Allie, my friend, don't let me go longer than 10 minutes, okay? So hey friends, welcome to third grade today. We've got a warm up, and our warm up is a routine called Which Three Go Together. It's kind of like that Sesame Street, like one of these things, not the one. So if you had to look, say yeah, how did I date myself there?
Well,
If
you're
you
right
look
up
at
my
these,
alley. You're singing
I
Sesame
know.
Street.
If you look at these four images, would you just take about 30 seconds of quiet think time and think to yourself, if I had to put three together, if I picked three that went together, which three would you pick and why? So, but everybody deserves time to think. So please take about 30 seconds to think about which three you think would go together best and why. You're going to have time to work in a group, but now we just get to think to ourselves. All right. Our friend Allie is going to send you off to your breakout rooms. Here's what I'd like you to do. When you get to your breakout rooms, please take turns and make sure that each person gets to share which three they thought went together and why. And then if you have some extra time, if there's a combination of three that you didn't touch on, maybe you could think about, well, could we put those other three together? Would that make sense? How would that work? So you're going to have about 3-ish minutes to go do that, because we're small groups, and then we'll come back together and share our thinking, right? So you're going to go off to small groups. We'll see you back. Which three go together and why?
Lisa, do you have a document that we're sending them off with? Did you want
Oh,
the
Allie,
images?
thank you. Yeah. You know what? Could we do the same? Sorry, could we do the same thing, friend? Can you just grab that image and slap it in the chat? Is that possible?
It could be.
Okay.
All right, hold on one second.
Thanks, friend. Sorry, that was our little detail we didn't get.
Just gonna take me 1 second.
You friend.
Let's try that. Okay. I'm like the IT computer guy in the movie where it's like the intense scene, right? And you got to do all the typing.
I know, all pressure. I hate it when people look over my shoulder.
Lisa, you can tell us a
All right.
math joke or something in the meantime. Don't you
Oh,
have to?
I'm terrible at that, Zach. No, I'm the last person you want for that. Okay, she did it. Here we go. Which three go together and why? We'll see you soon. The details, friend. I totally forgot. And I didn't want to send that document to them because like I didn't want them typing in the So yeah.
Should I grab the Kinder one just in case? Are we doing that one as well, or just this one?
No, I just want the only reason that's there is just to say, look, Angie, I know you're thinking, how does this relate to me? Because I know kinder teachers do that. They're going to go look at that and go, I can't get kinder kids to do that. And so my instinct was good. Right. We did have a kinder person, and I'm going to go, no, look, this isn't, I know you can't, this is not appropriate for kinder, but what do you think about this? So, and I loved how she asked, she's like, how could I do that? I'm like, what do you think about this?
I know. Yeah, that's great.
Okay. I love our little group. I'm happy with this. Okay, time-wise, I'm thinking if we can get done with this by 5:40, sorry, 5:40 my time, 4:40 your time, I think we're gonna be fine. So how do you
I
feel?
think so too.
Okay, cool.
I feel great. And I've got my
Okay.
10-minute timer on. We've got 5
Oh,
minutes.
good. Yeah, don't let
40
me. Yeah.
seconds.
All right, because they got about a minute and a half left. I think that's enough. I think that's enough.
Yeah.
But what I'm going to do now is that I'm going to pull up. I'm going to pull this up. All right, let's go. There we go. Is that all right? I'm back. All right, my friends, I am going to ask our friends in room 2. So Devon and Zach, would you please start us off? Can you give us an example of which 3 went together and why?
So for me, thinking like
Huh?
a very young person, I thought that A, B, and C were
Mhm.
gonna be the ones who are similar because D is just out of whack.
What do you mean out of whack, Devon? Talk
It's
to us.
just there. So they didn't put the squares inside of the squares neatly. And
Mm.
so since it's not neat, it's the only one that's different.
So can I say, and if this isn't right, Devon, you fix me. So A, B, and C are neater. Like the blue squares are arranged neatly.
Yes.
How would I say it? I want to make sure I get your idea. Does that say it?
Yes, ma'am. The
All
A,
right.
B, and C were arranged neater than D.
Neater than D. Got it. All right, great. Thank you for starting us off, Devon. Did anybody think that A, B, and C went together for a different reason?
Even in our own group, there was a slight difference. Zach had a different logic.
Zach, what was it? Why did you think A, B, and C went together?
No. So I actually I felt A, C, and D went together.
Okay, why?
Well, that's a great question. I don't know the term array yet. Um, Therefore,
Learn that at the end of 2nd grade. You could say array.
it's okay. Okay. Well, it's a full sheet of squares, and B wasn't. So
Okay.
it got left out.
I see what you mean, right? So you're saying that A is full of squares and C is full of squares. And even though D is a little whack, like to use Devon's language, it's still full of squares, whereas B is not full of squares.
Right.
I like it.
I
All right.
said the same.
Okay, so agree. Very nice. Does anybody think B, C, and D went together?
E,
The
C.
kindergarten teacher said my kindergartners would say they all went together because of the color.
Oh, so yeah, so you can say that. So tell me about the color.
So they're all blue pretty much where they have the smaller squares, they're all blue. And A has blue and white, blue and white, blue and white. So if you look at just the colors, that's what they would say.
Okay, so where is it 3 go together or all of them? All of them are blue and white.
No, the B, C, and D, because all of
Ah,
the smaller squares are all blue.
all of the smaller squares are all blue. That's exactly, yeah, I can totally see that. Thank you. What about A, B, and D? Did anybody think A, B, and D went together? Or could you think
Yes.
of a reason? All right,
Yeah.
yay. All right, Bob, what'd you think?
I originally went with other colors, but I thought, well, A, B, and D are all similar because they all have white in them versus C, which is completely blue.
Mhm.
Hmm.
Have white spaces or squares? Is that
There,
okay to say, Bob?
white spaces, that'd be probably good. Yeah.
Or squares? Does that match what you were thinking?
Yeah, it has one or the other, but there's white in
Okay.
it. Yeah.
Okay. You know what? I think that's what you said. So I want to say what you said. All of them have white in it, but not D. It's all blue, right?
But C.
Oh, sorry. Thank you. Not C. All right. Great. Hey, friends, we've been talking a little bit about area, right? And how we find area. And so I guess we're not going to do this, but this is the last question that I would ask if you were 3rd graders. I wonder how we could use those little blue squares in there to find area. And are there some images here where it's going to be easier to use the blue squares to find area? And are there other ones where we might have to move them or do something else? So if you were my third graders, I would invite you to turn and talk about that, and we'd have a quick discussion about that, but we're not going to do that tonight. So I want to say thank you. You can take your third grade hats off now. And I would like to ask, first of all, Angie, I was thinking about you because as a kindergarten teacher, you're like, Lise, that is fantastic, but I cannot do anything like that with my kindergartners. Well, guess what? This is from the same curriculum, and it is a kindergarten warm-up. And so I'm going to invite Angie to look at this warm-up and think if she could do something similar with her kindergartners with this image.
Oh yeah, definitely. They
Okay, all right. Yeah.
They would differentiate between the types of balls.
Yep. So it's doable, right? Like you could do a warm up like we just did, different routine, but you could do it like with this in kinder, right?
Right.
Awesome.
You can still do colors. You could do colors, or you could do the types of balls. Either way.
Love it. Love it. Okay, so I was thinking about you, Ange, because I know that sometimes we leave our kinder friends out and we can't, right? Like this is doable in kinder too. So
right.
I just want us good. Okay, great. I'm glad you were here. I just want us to take a time to reflect. Did you notice this structure? Like, did you feel this? And if so, I would love to get some examples. Like, did you feel a time when I was like, hey, this is what we're going to do? And did you have some individual time to think? And then did you have some time to collaborate? And then did we come back together and share our thinking and get solid on the idea?
Yeah, I think this was a great example of all of those. We had to look at the patterns before we even talked about them. So
you had some individual time to think and like figure out what you thought here.
Right. So actually with this example, I could see that applying to kindergartners for math and getting them to think also. So
awesome. Who else? And if you'd like, we can also think about the next prompt. I wonder if more of us had more experiences like this when we learned mathematics, how might that have impacted, right? Like kind of your vision of math, or maybe even your math identity. Maybe you never felt like you were much of a math person, or maybe you did, right? Like how might learning math more this way have impacted your identity or your vision of teaching and learning? So just going to pause, give you some time to reflect, and would love to hear your thoughts.
I think when I learned math, I'm 56, you're on an island. You're trying to figure it out, capture what the teacher's telling you. If you didn't get it, it was up to you to go find a peer that could explain it a different way. So it felt very isolating if you weren't great at something. Whereas in other classes, it was always more collaborative and you're interacting, and you don't feel like if you've got it wrong, you're never going to figure it out till later when you can find someone who can tell you. And that was just my personal early math experience, but it would have been refreshing to be able to, just like in any other class, to take the pressure off and talk to a shoulder partner about something, to hear their ideas, to build on yours, or think of all of our students with processing delays and things, and then the lack of equity because they're still processing and we've moved on, right? So I love it. I feel like it made a huge difference in how I felt about math. I didn't fall in love with math till college when I took my stats classes, and it connected to what I was learning. Here, I thought I was bad at it all along. So
thanks, Angie. Thanks for sharing, or not, I'm sorry, Jennifer. Thanks for sharing that, right? Like a lot of us had not so great experiences that really did impact our math identities, right? And it took a long time to rebuild them. And some of us might have never rebuilt them, right? And those things stay with us for a really long time. Anybody else want to jump in on that?
I think I was pretty lucky. I was good at math, but I was in a lot of classes where the teacher, well, it was the same teacher. I went to a small school in Grants. So our high school teacher he would tell us about what we were doing, and he would let us work on it. We could think about it together. We could talk about it together. And he never objected to that. And then if we still couldn't figure it out, we could always go back and ask him, and he would explain it step by step on what we were doing. So it was really nice because we were all yeah, we were all the same kids in the same classes all the time.
So
So
it sounds like, Angie, you had some experiences that looked more like this, where you got to
yeah,
collaborate and share your thinking. And yeah,
right.
nice.
I did. And then not having those peers sometimes when I went to college was a new experience. And it was, you didn't have anybody to bounce ideas off of.
Yeah, and that's
So,
hard. Like we're better together, right? And I want to
mhm.
kind of see, now I owe Jennifer a tasty beverage because she kind of talked about this idea of equity, right? And I want us to kind of think about this idea of building positive math identity. So we just talked about that. Like Angie had really good experiences in math, it sounds like, and her identity was pretty strong, right? Jennifer didn't have those same experiences, and so she didn't even feel like a math person until she got to college, right? So like it's important how we teach math in K-12. It sticks with people. It can send them off in completely different paths in life. So I'm going to pause while you read this quote from. So it's not only, I mean, and again, I know what a hard list we have in education right now. It's not just about teaching math, right? Like they got to learn the standards, but they also, like, our job is to really set them off on their life with this positive math identity where they feel confident, right? Because it's an equity issue. Everybody in our world has to know how to engage in mathematics and quantify the world, right? If they're going to solve problems and do all the good things that we need them to do. And for a lot of our kids and a lot of us, we didn't feel confident in that. We didn't feel like we had a place there. Right. So I want us to kind of reflect on the
Yeah.
sites, like whether it's a classroom that we have or whether we're like in a different role. What kinds of math learning experiences that we want our kids to have on the regular, ones that are going to build positive math identities? And I think I heard somebody who's going to speak. Please do.
So this is kind of I'm a very visual person at times, and I work for a nonprofit where my wife often says some of these kids don't fit in. They come there and they find their people, and I look at that one student that has the walkers on his hands, and I think about the various kids throughout my life because of how they look, because of their weight, whatever, they felt excluded. In this type
Yeah.
of environment on the right is a type of learning that puts everybody on equal footing, and then you get an opportunity to learn from each other. It's like we're not so much different. We have so much to contribute, and we just shouldn't be put off by what society has told us to think. So
Oh, Bob, I love that. That's so true, right? Like, we've all got diverse like experiences and perspectives and ways of thinking, and those are all valuable, right? Like the way I see things is going to be different than the way you do, is the different way that Angie does, but we're all going to put our brains together and it's going to be better, you know? And so how do we build these math learning experiences in these classrooms, right? Where we're all valued, right? And where we can build everyone's identity. I love that. Okay, I'm looking at our time friends and I'm going to scoot us along a little bit. So I just want to offer, if we want our kids to have better math experiences and grow better identities, right, than the ones that we got, then we need to have better math teaching and learning. And I want to just qualify that. I am not saying that there's not good math teaching and learning going on out there. I know Andy's kids are doing wonderful things. I know teachers are working so hard, right? But how do we, if we want things that look more like, right, like that include more of the things like on the right side, right? How do we get there if that's not happening at our site already? Or how do we bring more in if we're already doing some of these things? And so I want to talk just really briefly about how high quality math instructional materials are. That's why I titled this like session, the foundation, like how they are foundational for making sure that these kinds of things, right, like happen for our kids. So I just want to go over here, and please know you're going to get, oh gosh, I went to the, let me scroll up here. You're going to get a link to this, so don't worry. You're going to get like all of the things. This is from EdReport, so this is a pretty reputable organization about high quality instructional materials. But like, why is it so important that if we want to have these experiences for our kids, that it starts with adopting high quality materials? One is like, just read this, right? From some research, especially in mathematics and especially in K-5, those materials really have a huge influence on what happens in classrooms on a daily basis. Right. Whereas my hunch is Angie came out of teacher school as a reading expert. She didn't really need a reading textbook. depending on how many math classes she had in college, which is usually one or maybe two, right? If she was lucky, designing a whole math curriculum is not something that she's probably going to feel comfortable with. I've been doing this work 30 years. I don't feel comfortable with that. Does that feel fair, Ange?
That's true.
Okay, right. So instructional materials really do impact what happens on a daily basis. If we have materials that, oh, that was not what I wanted to do. Stand by, I just closed that deck. If we have materials that look more like our purple people, will I pull this back up? Right, then we're gonna have more experiences like that. If we have materials that look more, that support more instruction, like our gray people, it's gonna look like that, right? Like they have a huge influence. In fact, it can have, I mean, it's not just, oh, it's gonna look nice and feel better in the classroom. It comes out in the data, right? If you have a high quality program in 4th or 5th grade, it can lead to actual like significant percentile points, right? In middle school, it's actually astonishing, right? Like if you have a high quality instructional material in middle school, that is the same thing as having an extremely high quality teacher, right? They're just as important. And the nice thing is if you're a district leader, like you're going to have to buy a book anyway, and the high quality materials cost about the same as the, right? Like, so it's like, it's not like going out and buying a car, right? Like you can afford the Hummer for your kids, right? Like you don't have to settle for the Chevy Cruze. Like you can get the Cadillac if you want, and it's going to be better for your kids, right? And lastly, I think I want to leave on it. It's 40 times more cost effective than class size reduction. So I hope I've whet your appetite. There's a whole bunch more to this infographic. We're going to share it with you, but just know that like what you adopt makes a huge difference, right? In what kinds of experiences kids have, what kinds of identities kids have, but also the data, right? Like it comes out, it really does impact student performance. So let me get back to where we were. We're almost done.
I just want to say that is so powerful at a time when people are maybe crunching budgets or trying to determine what they can really afford, to be able to put in front of your board, your teachers, your principals, that quality instruction that's research based through ed reports. It's on PED's list. We always use both here. Is 40 more times cost effective than your class size. That's
isn't that remarkable?
Huge. Oh my gosh.
So again, we're going to share that with you and a whole bunch more here in just a little bit before we leave. So you're going to be able to go share this with your stakeholders. So the question is like, where do we start? Like, how do we do this? And I want to acknowledge some of you are from really big districts and you may have already started this process, but some of you might be from smaller places and you're like, no, we're just getting started. Wherever you're starting, what we've done is we've kind of compiled what all the good people's like the ed reports and the NCSM. Everybody says you have to start with a vision for math teaching and learning that's firmly grounded in research. Like I said, if you don't know where you're going to go, if you don't know where you're headed, you're never going to get there. So that's why we sort of started with this idea of what could it look like? What could math teaching and learning look and feel like? Right? What did it maybe look and feel like for us? But what does the research say about what math teaching and learning look like that does build positive math identities, that is good for all kids? So wherever you are in your process, you've got to have a vision and it's got to be held by all the stakeholders. So, and we're going to share some resources with you, but that's step one. Right? And then you can adopt a resource that aligns with that vision instead of the one that we're most comfortable with, right? Because maybe not everybody's comfortable with that vision of teaching and learning, but that's what's good for our kids, right? And that's where we want to go. So we're going to figure out how to get there. And then literally that's step one on your journey. Like, remember when Dorothy started going around the spiral in the yellow brick road? She took one step and that was adopting the high quality material. Getting to the Emerald City was the implementation, and that is like the rest of your journey, right? Because getting that high quality material and getting it to look like what it's supposed to look like in the classroom, a lot of us have had that takes a long time and that's a lot of work, but you got to start with that first step out of Emerald City, and that's your textbook, right? So what guidance do we have? So we wanted to offer, right? Because there's some really good stuff out there that our state has put out, but it's pretty general, right? So we wanted to offer you some resources, and Allie's going to share this link in the chat. We have curated some resources that we think are going to be helpful to you wherever you are in your journey. These are all linked, and you've got find out where they're linked. These are sort of national level resources at the top. And these are some sort of New Mexico specific resources that can help you with your vision, that can help you in the adoption process, that can help you with a rubric. It's a great place to start. So please know that you have access to these. And Allie, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to skip to the end, and then we're going to go back to this and end with this. So bear with me, and if you think it's terrible, yank my chain really quick. We also want you to know, right, that we think just like we were better together today, right? It's always good to have a partner if you're going to the Emerald City or wherever you're going on your journey, right? So we wanted to offer MC Squared and the STEM Innovation Network have partnered to create some 1/2 to 1 day math adoption sessions for site teams to help with this process wherever you are. This was an hour isn't just enough to whet the appetite and get us started on the road, right? So we want you to know, oh, where did that go? There it is. These are the tentative dates for the session. We tried to schedule these around the states and all of our great regional hubs. And there will be more soon to follow. You're going to get some registration information. But please know that we know that this is just a beginning. And if you'd like more support, what we would love is for you to organize a district math team, like a few people of key stakeholders, and come to these sessions. And we would love to get better and go on this journey with you together. But we have about 7 minutes now. And so we want to get, while we've got this community here, we want to give you some time to sort of pause and reflect and think about what we've done together and maybe what the next steps are. So Allie's going to post a link to some structured stationery that's yours to use and kind of take some notes. And we've got some questions here for you to think about. What does it look like right now, this process at your site? What are its strengths and where could it get stronger? What does the research about best practice in teaching and learning of math say? What learning do you need to do about this research at your site? Like, does everybody know what problem-based learning is? Do they know what it looks and feels like? What is your vision for teaching and learning math? Do you have one? And if not, how are you going to create one collectively, right? And maybe what resources are best going to support your vision and are best aligned to practices. So we have got some structured stationery for you to use now. And if you want to take a couple minutes to look these over, or if you've got questions or want to ask folks on the chat, who are here with us today to weigh in, we just wanted to give you some time to sit. So this last few minutes is really just to choose your own adventure. If you'd like some just time for quiet reflection, to look at those questions, maybe to use the structured stationery, please go ahead. If you have some questions you'd like to ask, please go ahead. If you'd like to talk to each other, please go ahead.
Lisa, I'm going to sign off, but I really appreciate you guys hosting this. And I particularly like your emphasis on creating a shared vision. I think that's really the first step.
Yeah.
And that's hard to do. And so, especially in the limited time that we have,
Can I like lift up what Zach just said? It makes I was just like, you just need to create a vision. This is not, he's 100% right. This is not an easy process. And so that's why we wanted to offer like these 1/2 to 1 day sessions. If you're like, I have no idea how to do that, that's what we're really going to start with in our face-to-face sessions, because it is hard. And like that's one of our, like, I know Zach does this work. We do this work at MC Squared. We've spent 30 years looking at the research, right? And so it's easier for us to condense that on down and maybe kind of provide some resources and some places to start. But if you can't come to those things, just, reach out to us. And I'm going to end with that slide, right? Like we're here to support you, and so are our partners, right? So if you can't make it to these, we will have these recordings. The session has been recorded. We will share those. This deck will be shared. If please reach out, right, to either MC Squared or the STEM Innovation Network. If there are some more things you need, and we promise we will get you connected with the right people. And thank you for your time today. I know we've got a couple more minutes. I'll happily stay on for until 5. But it's a joy. Thank you for taking your time out of your day. I know you worked a full day and you're probably tired and want to go home. So we're grateful that you were here and built this community. And I hope to get to work with you more soon. Allie, anything to add before we take off? Let these nice people go.
Thank you, ladies and everyone. It was great to be a part of this today. I look forward to additional pieces.
It was so nice to meet you, Jennifer. Thanks
Yes,
so
thank you.
much.
Thank you guys. It was nice to see the other side.
Thanks, Angie. Thank you so much. And I'm so grateful that you can see this, like how it could happen in kindergarten. I've seen it and it's astonishing. It's astonishing what they can do. So I'm excited
Yeah.
about you taking some of this back. Awesome.
I am too. Thank you very much.
Thank
Bye
you.
bye.
Thank you.
Y'all have a good one.
Thanks, Devon. It was so nice to
Thank-
meet you. Pat just raves about you, and I can't wait to work with you in person.
Absolutely. Thank you. I love Pat too. So
She loves you to death.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Bob.
Thank you, Bob.